A lot of people looking to learn another language turn to Rosetta Stone. But not too many people realize that this family business was taken public by an entrepreneur who's also an INSEAD MBA. Thank you very much for being with us, Tom Adams, CEO and President of Rosetta Stone, MBA 2001.
Hi, well, very nice to be here. Thank you.
How did you join Rosetta Stone? It sounds like it was one of your earlier jobs after graduation.
Yeah. So, so I joined pretty much right out of INSEAD. A friend of mine from high school had sworn that we'd work together one day, and he was one of those determined persons that actually made it a reality. And so he called me right about the time when the founder of the company had passed away. So I came in as CEO, age 30, and that was back in 2003.
Okay, so how did your friend talk them into hiring you as a CEO, and did you actually train for this, or was this kind of dumb luck?
Yeah, so obviously a lot of dumb luck, but I think that the good training I got at INSEAD was wonderful, and indeed I used the inspiration of one of my professors here, who said, el no ya lo tienes, which means no, you already have it. So if you don't ask, it is no. And so just ask. And so I asked when the family said that they wanted me to join the company, I said, then make me CEO. And they said yes right away.
But what was your background? It was not in languages, although you must speak.
So I've learned a lot of languages throughout my life. I have an amazing amount of passion for it. I'd learned languages in a natural way, so it was very consistent with the way Rosetta Stone teaches. Mm-hmm. And I'd even used Rosetta Stone when I was living in China, just before I came to INSEAD.
So what was it about Rosetta Stone that interested you in the first place, and that you thought, because you've grown it, it's now publicly listed, so what made you, did you see this opportunity when you joined?
So what I was so excited about with Rosetta Stone was that this was a company that was trying to change its industry, or had the potential to. I think that the company had not exactly defined its level of ambition when I came in. But very early on, I sort of brought the management team together. We talked about what we all hoped to achieve. We set a big goal of increasing the company's size tenfold in just four years, a goal we actually beat by 9 months. And all of that was done really to change how people learn languages. We wanted to make it interactive so that you could really experience the language learning firsthand, develop your skills. And also, we wanted to make it immersive so that you weren't having to memorize vocab lists, or you weren't learning the technical grammar, because all of us that have learnt languages know that that doesn't really work. And what works is being in country, being immersed in the language. And so being able to provide an immersion experience in an interactive format that could be delivered anywhere was very exciting to me.
What about growing pains? I mean, this company has transformed. It's now a publicly listed company on the U.S. New York Stock Exchange, and you have, as you said, increased it tenfold. People must be wondering where they're working.
Yeah, so obviously when a company goes from where we were to where we are now, there are tremendous growing pains. One of the challenges that we had was that we grew as a consumer business, and that means that you have a lot more transactions. So we have over 1 million transactions a year. And when you have that many transactions, you need systems. And putting in systems is extremely expensive, and yet very necessary. So I think one of the biggest growing pains was going from, QuickBooks and paper towards, having an Oracle system that was fully functional and delivering, accurate financial reporting. Other growing pains involved management, where you start out with a team that's very good potentially, but then as the company grows, it becomes more necessary for you to make changes even there. And we went through a phase in 2006 where really I brought in Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Information Officer, a bunch of big executives to really start building the scalability and the sort of processes.
Rosetta Stone went public. You took them public at the trough of the recession. I mean, what, April of, or end of March of 2009, just after every stock was trading in the single digits or the cents.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind that?
So we took Rosetta Stone public on April 16th, and just about 3 weeks before that was the trough in the markets. And I think at that time, when we launched our roadshow, there was that moment of, are we doing something crazy here? But in the end, we felt so good about the business, we felt so good about our prospects as a company, that we weren't deterred. And we felt like going public was going to enable us to fulfill our dream of building this into a much larger company. We had taken on some private equity investors back in 2006. We all knew that at some point they needed to find liquidity. We were also a company that was going through lots of growth, but needed potentially capital to make acquisitions or to expand internationally more rapidly. And the IPO was a way to help enable that. And again, I think it was a very successful transaction. And as a result, I think the company's in a great position today.
And presumably, with your expansion plans, have you changed them at all given the current environment, or you're still going ahead? And if so, is it easy to raise money for what you're doing?
We have, we are profitable and we're generating cash, and we've been adding people over the past several years. So we have twice as many employees now as we did in 2007. So we now have 1,700 employees, and we're also looking to add another 400 employees within this year. So I think a company like Rosetta Stone, because it's essentially creating new value in the economy through innovation, by delivering a service that before was delivered in a very expensive way, it's now delivering it in a much more scalable and affordable fashion. We are actually able to somehow be even more appealing in an environment like the one today.
You've won several managerial awards. Why?
So we get nice awards as a company, and I think it's recognition for what we're doing. So I guess the biggest one we won was the one we won in Palm Springs at the Ernst & Young National Entrepreneur of the Year conference, and so I was awarded the national winner. And I think what was special about that is that Rosetta Stone's really a company that kind of defined entrepreneurism in 2009. We went public, we released a new offering, we started growing internationally very quickly. And I think that when people see that kind of confidence, that level of success, in an environment like the one we have today, they want to recognize that. And I think that this was a lot about that, as well as the fact that we are really at the center of two big trends, one being globalization and the other one being innovation and learning.
Let me end by asking you, you're back here at INSEAD to speak to students for part of the Entrepreneur Day. Mm-hmm. What are you going to tell them?
My big message for students here is really that they've got to be very sensitive to their window of opportunity when they come out of business school. Because I think that many of us put off starting a business or going entrepreneurial for a long time, and we come to regret it. And the opportunity to pursue your passion is really the way you find true happiness. And that's what I want them to find, is happiness. It's not about money, necessarily, entrepreneurship, although if you are successful entrepreneurially, you are rewarded. But most people who succeed at being entrepreneurs are doing it for other reasons. Reasons like they want to change the world, they want to contribute to humanity in some way or another. And so I'm really here to just encourage them to have the confidence to take on a big challenge.
Thank you very much, Tom, for being with us on INSEAD Knowledge.
All right, thank you very much.